Hi, my name's Rebecca Jenkins and I have over 25 years senior leadership and management experience as I've been growing and managing businesses. And in these videos, the purpose of them is to share some techniques and ideas and things that I've learned along the way that can help you to be more successful in your career and in your business. Now, I'm sure you'll all agree with me that we all have to attend meetings as part of our daily work life. And some meetings kind of just go on forever. But when you follow these 10 simple, straightforward steps, there's no need for meetings to be boring going forward. You can start them, finish them, and manage them all on time and keep them on point. So here are my 10 steps. The first step is to think of the purpose of your meeting. What do you want to get from your meeting? Is it a review meeting looking at sales figures? Is it a board meeting reporting on performance and strategy and coming up with some new strategic approaches? Just think about the purpose of your meeting and actually what you want to get from it. Once you've decided on that, it'll be much easier to think about who it is that needs to attend the meetings. You don't need everybody there. Just the key people that are going to make an important contribution to what you want to get out of the meeting. The third point is to make sure the agenda is spot on with what you want to achieve. So an agenda must have the most important items at the top of the agenda. When everybody's arriving at the meeting, they're fresh, they're keen to deliver a good meeting and have a good meeting. So you want the most important items there at the top while everybody's got their energy and enthusiasm for the meeting. So get those there right at the beginning, at the very top of the agenda. Remember to send out an agenda in advance. So I personally like to have agenda items 2 weeks in advance. That allows me to plan and schedule in time to prepare for the meetings. Do not turn up for meetings unprepared. Make sure you've given thought to what's going to be on the agenda, that you can plan, you can put some thinking time into it. That will make the meetings much more successful. You must have a start and finish time. And how many meetings have you been in where they don't actually finish on time? If you're managing a meeting, really do your utmost and be very strict about the time allocation for each agenda item and keep the meeting moving forward so that you can meet that time frame, you can meet that finish time. And that means you have to allow sufficient time for each of those agenda items to make sure that they're fully discussed, you hear feedback from everybody, and you can then review and make some decisions. So just take that into consideration. You don't want to rush through the agenda, you actually want to give it time for the important items. The fourth point, start on time, even if people arrive late. You might find that the chairman of the meeting or the chairman of the company is running late. Doesn't matter, start the meeting on time. When the chairman arrives or the person who's late arrives to the meeting, you can always do a very, very quick recap, or you could just update them on what was covered off in the meeting at a later point. But start on time. When you've got the people there that have arrived on time, you don't want to waste their time by holding on, waiting for other people to arrive. And also, when you are known for meetings starting punctually, people respect that and they'll make sure that they get there on time. The fifth point, this is a great method for keeping your meetings on topic. It's very easy for people to kind of go off topic a bit, or one point leads to another point, and before you know it, you're not covering the key points on your agenda. If that happens, you can just use this very simple method. It's called the parking lot method. So if somebody comes up with an off-topic point, you just say, I'm going to park that and we can come back to it later on if there's time. You just keep a list of off-topic items. You can say that at the beginning actually. You can just make it clear that if we do go off at a tangent and it's not relevant to the meeting, you're going to use this method and you'll refer and come back to it either at the end of the meeting or set up another meeting to go to cover those points. The sixth point is to have some meeting rules, some meeting etiquette, as you might like to say. Now, if you go to my website, rgen.co.uk/downloads, you will find a downloadable list of ideas, a PDF, giving you a list of ideas of things that you might want to cover in your meeting rules. For example, don't bring in your mobile phone to the meeting because you might well be distracted. And this one I kind of find happens quite a bit. And you want to make it clear that you don't want more than 2 people speaking at once in a meeting. That gets very distracting, especially for the person who might be taking notes at the meeting. They're not quite sure which conversation they need to be listening to. But yeah, go to my website and you can download the whole list of things that you might want to consider as your meeting rules. And you can send those out in advance, you can attach them to the agenda, you can refer to them briefly at the introduction of the meeting and just say, these are the guidelines, meeting principles, meeting rules that we're going to be following. They will certainly help to keep your meeting on track. Take regular breaks. How many times have you been in a meeting that's gone on and you've been sitting for 2, 3 or even 4 hours or more? If you're chairing the meeting, make it clear that you're going to take breaks every hour, just a quick get up, get a fresh drink, just have a quick stretch, but just make that clear, just be a couple of minutes just to refocus, re-energise and get back on track with the meeting. So everybody knows that every hour or every 40 minutes or whatever time frame you want to set, that there'll be an opportunity to take a short comfort break. There are certain personality types at meetings. I'm just covering off 2 here. The ramblers, the people that have a point to make, seem to be incapable of saying it succinctly and go on and on and on. And if you're managing a meeting, it's your responsibility to control and manage the timings of the meeting. So if you're faced with a rambler, somebody who's not getting to the point, you can say you can just say to them that timings are very tight. You've made a commitment to finish on time. Be really appreciated if you could just get to your point really quickly. We don't need to know all the detail. We haven't got time to go into all of the detail. So just raise it and just call them to get to the key points that they're trying to make. Often there can be people in meetings who don't say anything, who just sit quietly at the meeting. They might be absorbing all the information, but you actually want their input. You've invited them to the meeting because you think they're going to add value to it. Then just ask them direct questions and encourage them to speak up and say something at the meeting. You know, they could be shy, they may feel uncomfortable with making their point, but really help them and encourage them and ask them specifically for their perspective, their take, their input, their feedback on something. Next, we want to make sure that at the end of the meeting, you do a full recap of the key points and the actions. And that rounds the meeting up. People are clear about what they need to do and the actions and key points have been agreed. And then the last point is to make sure that the minutes go out within a short space of time. I say maximum 1 week. Get your minutes out there, people can reflect on what's been said, they can recap on their actions, and it's just good while it's fresh in everybody's mind that they can read them and agree with the points that were made. So there you go, 10 very simple, straightforward steps to make sure that your meetings are very productive, they're on time, and you manage them with the vigour that they need to bring everybody together and achieve the purpose that you set out right at the beginning for your meeting. So it's Rebecca Jenkins, helping you to achieve more performance, more success in your career and in your business.